I have too many books. And I know that's not something you would normally catch me saying, but things are falling off shelves and are piled and stacked in weird ways, and I need to make some room. So I decided a good idea would be to go through all of the books I've picked up from the library that have been withdrawn or at book fairs, like just secondhand, all the secondhand books. Most of them haven't cost me more than $1. Um, and there's 17, you'll see on the screen. I have a random number generator because I don't know how to decide where to start, but let's roll this, make my list of my order for the books, and then I'll show you what the books are and I can get started. I'm planning to read like 1 or 2 chapters from each just to see if it's something I think I'm going to want to continue with. And if it's not, I can make a lovely pile to unhaul and send to the charity shop. So let's do this. All right, we start with book 12 and here is my list. Okay, cool. Well, this is good. Let me finish this and I will get started. 12. Okay, 4 pages in, and I already know I'm going to keep this one. This is Magic for Beginners by Kelly Link. I don't know who told me about it, but I remembered someone had told me about it, and when I saw it on the withdrawn pile at the library, I had to grab it. It's a short story collection. Magic for Beginners is many things: sweetly strange, liberally scattered with brilliance, a magical lens on the stuff of life that moves and makes us. These are stories of the real world made beautifully unreal, of transformation, love, zombies, and brothers, fired from cannons. They are the stories you have been waiting to read. So I'm excited to keep on reading this. I didn't even finish the first short story because I know I'm definitely going to want to keep reading that one. 1 page, not even the first whole page. This is Last Things by Jacqueline West, and I don't think I've read anything by her, but the cover says Everything I Love in a Book by Victoria Schwab, and I love her books, so I was like, well, good chance I'll love this one. I like the edges, places where things end, fade out, disappear, where two things eat away at each other until neither of them really exists anymore. Sharp edges, frayed edges, places that are more than one thing or nothing. It's comfortable at the edge. Yeah, I'm going to keep reading this one. Third up was China Mayville's The City and the City, and I thought I'd probably like this one. I have liked his books in the past. They can be quite complex and take up too much, like a lot of brain power to think and keep all the different names and stuff going. And I've liked some of that, but I'm not in the mood for this right now. So this one's going. Yeah, I was pretty sure I would enjoy this, and I probably would under other circumstances. I do want to say, if you think I should keep any of the ones I'm discarding, give me reasons why in the comments below, because I can be convinced. I'm reasonable. Okay, the 4th book is The Push. I've seen lots of people talk about this. If they're like, it's a domestic thriller, I believe. The tagline on the front is Mother, Daughter, Angel, Monster. I'm like, okay. Anyway, I read the epilogue. Nope. Prologue, Cassie. The bit at the start, and I definitely want to read it. Something fell out of it. That's a worry. Secondhand books, right? It's a little bit water damaged, but I'm looking forward to reading it. It sounds very much like it will be up my alley. Family history written in our genes is handed down the generations from mother to daughter, the good and the bad. We cannot choose what we inherit. We cannot decide what we are. Sometimes we get to be angels and sometimes monsters. So, looking forward to reading the rest of this one, and let's see what the next book is. 5th on the chopping block is Victor LaValle's The Changeling. I have to confess that I knew about this book, but seeing the trailer for the TV show really made me want to pick it up. I'm sure there are some changes. I haven't watched the TV show yet, but I did see this book being withdrawn at the library not long after, and I was like, okay, I'm grabbing the book. I really enjoyed his, I think it was The Ballad of Black Tom, which I read like 8 or 9 years ago when it first came out, and I haven't actually picked anything else up of his yet, but enjoyed his writing. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. I read a bit, and it is a slower. Obviously, it's huge, so you've got, huge for me because I like medium length books mostly, over 400 pages. Yeah, it's a bigger one, but I think I'm going to really enjoy this, and it's got me excited anyway. 6 books in, and I'm feeling a little bit tired, but we're just under a third of the way. No, over a third of the way, so that's good. The sixth book was The Endgames by T. Michael Martin. I picked this up because it was like, this is not just a monster novel, it's a tale of terror worthy of the early great Stephen King. I grew up reading Stephen King, so that was quite appealing. It's a zombie book. There's some game elements to it. Ultimately, not for me. Like, the writing seems decent, the characters seem okay. I read a little bit. Lots of action if you're really into that thing. Not really my favorite. I love zombies, but it didn't feel like the take that would really inspire me to want to keep reading. So I'm going to pass on this one and check out the next book. I think this is book 7. Anyway, this is The Supernatural Enhancements by Edwin Cantero. It says the most addictive thriller of the year. I love this cover. Like, it felt very noir to me. This is the horror symbol for our library. It had an interesting feel to it. There's a gothic estate that someone inherits, they're settling in, there's rumours of ghosts and secret societies. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like my jam. But also, as I've just discovered, it is written in like diary entries, letters to the aunt, and notes from the second character, who's mute, which is cool, but not for me. I was like, yep, I'm into this. And I was like, oh, no, actually, not so much. There's a lot of dialogue between the main character and other characters without any extra details, and I need a little bit more to go on. So it was all right, but I'm not going to keep it. That leaves me with three that I'm getting rid of. Yes, and 4 that I'm keeping so far. Right, on to the next one. Yes, keeping this one. This is The Mere Wife by Maria Davana Headley. It's a feminist retelling of Beowulf. And yes, yes. I read through the prologue. Again, I'm up to the first part now, but I was like, I knew I was going to keep reading it even before I got to where I am now, but I was like, I'm just going to finish this section. It's really well written, and it has that combination of like there's this otherworldly magical stuff happening within this perfectly normal, well, I say normal, but like war-torn country, but the real world. So yes. Excellent. On to the next one. At this point, I've completely lost track of what number we're at, but the next one up was The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. Beware the Evil in the Woods. This is full. This is like based on a Russian fairy tale retelling, which I haven't read many of. So it was really interesting to me. I've seen lots of people mention reading this, and feel like it's a good fit for me. I got through the first couple of chapters, and it's a little bit slower than my normal reads, but I want to stick with it. So we'll put this in the keeping pile. There are eight books left, I think, to get through. It's almost lunchtime. I'm tired. I'd really love a nap, but this is still fun. So let's keep going. I'm done. I decided to move outside and go through the rest of them. It's taken me longer than I thought. Anyway, I've got a stack of the things I'm keeping, and then we'll finish up with the things I'm not keeping. This is The Other People by C.J. Tudor. My mother-in-law lent this to me, gave it to me a couple of years ago now. I do love a good suspense, I guess. So, yes, I'm looking forward to finishing reading this. Basically, a guy is driving home from work, he's running late, and then he sees his young child in the back of the car in front of him. It is like, maybe it's another kid, but she mouths daddy, and then he tries to catch up to the car, but the car disappears. And then it picks up after that. A couple of years later, he's still trying to find the kid. So looking forward to reading that one. Then we have Bone Gap, which I just thought this was a cute cover. Magical realism at its most magical. It's by Laura Ruby, and I really like magical realism, so this is definitely one for me. I thought the writing was interesting. At the moment, it follows, well, mostly a male teen character who is like, it's got lots of the typical kind of magical realism stuff in it. And I'm not sure how to describe things because it's getting later and my brain's not working. But anyway, keeping that one. Then we had this was actually meant to be earlier in the pile, but I somehow missed it. Next up is Small Spaces. I picked this one up at a car boot thing. It says that, so the main character witnessed her gruesome imaginary friend lure some kid away at a carnival years ago, and now that person's back. And so is the imaginary friend, which is right up my alley. I love the way that it sounds like it's going to mess with my head. So great. And then the last one on this pile is Goldilocks by Laura Lamb. I've heard quite a few people talk about this one, and so when I saw it withdrawn from the library, picked it up. It's a science fiction with a group of women who are out on a mission to the Goldilocks zone, to a planet out there. So yeah, very much looking forward to checking this out. Right, let me grab the stack of things I'm not keeping. Right, back with Little Fires Everywhere. This was a book club book from my library. This has been super popular, and like super, super popular, but I just wasn't that interested in it in the bit that I read. If you think it's worth me keeping, well, let me know. After that, we had Days by Moonlight by Andre Alexis, and I loved this cover when I saw it at the library. It was there a few times, and I was like, I'm going to get it. It's got a ghost on the side, so I thought that could be good. The paper is beautiful. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's got this texture to it that is just lovely. But I just couldn't really get into it. There was a lot of, I don't know, it was a little bit stuffy for my liking. So after that, I had Dark Room by K.A. Alexander. And this is one of the kind of like a scary young adult middle grade kind of book. And I do like a good one of those, but this one just didn't really pique my interest so much. And then this one, Fiend, apparently the last zombie. No, that's the other one. Oh no, this is the last zombie novel you'll ever need to read. But it was just a little bit too hectic for my liking. The characters at the start of the book are high, and it's the whole, is this real, is this not real? They've been doped up for 3 days, and obviously the world's gone to hell in a handbasket in that time, and they have no idea what's going on. So it reads kind of like a fever-pitched novel, which can be fun, but I'm just don't think I need it on my bookshelf. Anyway, any of the titles that I'm not keeping, feel free to let me know that I should. Otherwise, they're all making their way to one of the op shops locally. It feels good. I think I've cleaned off 4, I've moved other things, maybe 7 or 8 books, which is great. That creates more room on my shelf, although I'm not meant to be filling them all up with more books. Trying to read through what I have first, and there's still plenty to choose from.